Hello, everyone. This is Dr. I here, the founder of Classroom Without Walls, where we teach you, your children, what schools are not teaching them to become future ready. So this is the second video of my four-part video series in which I teach you a pathway to help your children become future ready, to create their dream jobs, their dream lives, and I'm going to teach you a pathway. So today's video is the second part of the four-part video training series. And last week was the first one. This is the second one. And by the way, I am live on LinkedIn. Hello, LinkedIn. I'm also live on Facebook. Hello, Facebook. Periscope and on YouTube. Hello, everyone. And let me know in the comment section where you are joining me live from, social media-wise and geographically speaking. And I'm going to come back to the comment section later after I finish today's teaching. And I'm going to answer as many questions as possible. So today we are, hey team, and today we are going to discuss and how to transform your children's relationship with social media and creative technologies from being disruptive to becoming constructive. Okay, so this is the second part of the video training series. And before we dive into today's topic, I want to give you a quick review of what we discussed last week. And by the way, if you missed last week's training, which was really well received, leave me a comment in the comment section saying training, hashtag training. I will make sure to send you a link after I finish today's teaching. So this is an iceberg, okay? And this is what we discussed last week. And in order for your children to become future ready, to have their dream jobs, dream lives, and they need to have knowledge. Knowledge is crucial. And this is what we discussed last week. You know, we made a very clear and necessary distinction between two types of knowledge. For most of you, most parents watching us right now, and your children go to high school and college, right? So they learn something from their schools and they choose a major, physics, chemistry, literature, psychology, medicine, communication, public relations, whatever it is. We call that, let me change my color. SME. So what I mean by SME is subject matter expertise. So they go to a school, they learn something, and that major is called subject matter expertise, which is really good to help anyone get started on their career. However, this is the missing link. Because of social media, the internet, and technology, there is a new set of knowledge that has emerged as a result of social media technology, gig economy, remote working, all those things. And this new set of knowledge that is not being taught in a traditional school curriculum. And what I'm talking about here is and digital media knowledge, which means that our children's ability to market themselves, to advocate for themselves, to build a personal brand for themselves, to engage in storytelling, and also story selling. So that is a very important skill and knowledge. And in fact, LinkedIn, they published a list of most needed soft skills and most needed hard skills by most companies in 2020. And under the list of hard skills, guess what? They have marketing, sales, video production. Okay, so this is also what we are going to discuss today. Okay, So digital marketing and social media and branding. And this is what I'm going to share with you. I have a different framework to share with you, a 3C framework to share with you that will, I guarantee you, will help you and help your children to transform their relationship with social media from being disruptive to becoming constructive. Okay, so that's under knowledge. And also last week we talked about life skills. And last but not the least is mindset. Okay. And most parents, they focus, or you focus only on the SME part, subject matter expertise, your SAT score, how many A's, how many B's you have, and that specific major, okay? But as you can see from this iceberg here, in order for your children to become future ready, they need this, the tip of the iceberg, they need this, they need this, they need this, they need this entire thing to become future ready. And so again, if you missed last week's training and leave me a comment in the comment section, I will make sure to send you the link. So today we are talking about digital media, social media, creative technologies. And next Thursday at this time, I'll be talking about life skills, why they're so important and how to cultivate them, how to incorporate them into your parenting, into your education of your children to help them become future ready. And in 2 weeks, I'll be talking about mindset. Okay, there's also a workbook that comes with the training. So if you want the workbook, make sure you leave a comment in the comment section. Workbook. I wasn't able to send you the workbook last week because I was making constant changes. So this week, I'm going to send you last week's training and this week's training in the workbook. Okay, so let's get started with today's training. Are you ready? From disruptive to constructive, talking about social media and creative technologies, I have worked with more than 2,000 students in the United States and quite a few different countries, globally speaking. And one thing I noticed in my own students, and last year with my own school, we had an immersion in Singapore. I noticed the same thing in the students, in those young adults. That is pretty common. Everyone is glued to their smartphone, right? And that is very problematic. And you and I will read news all the time, how our young children are becoming so addictive to social media, to technology, and how that has been negatively affecting their lives, their identities. And so the problem here is our children, they are addicted to social media, to technology, and nowadays TikTok has become so popular. How many of you are on TikTok, right? You can easily spend hours on a day, on a given day on TikTok, watching videos, and or maybe on Snapchat, on Instagram, watching videos, consume. And most of our young children, I'm talking about high school students and college age students, maybe even younger students, they consume social media so much. They consume content from social media so much. And they mainly use social media as a toy, as a way to entertain themselves, right? So that is very, very problematic. And look at us, how addicted we are to social media and technology. And think about the young children. They are still growing their mind and their identity, and to what extent their own identity is being shaped and constructed by social media, right? So most children are here. And one way, based on my working and coaching with all the students, and one way to move them away from this passive consumption of social media and almost a victim stage of social media to this level. Okay. And the very first step, if you want to transform your children's relationship with social media from being disruptive to becoming constructive, is to move them away from purely using social media as a way to consume, but to use social media as a way to create. Okay. And I mentioned earlier at the beginning of this year in January, LinkedIn published an article. So a list of hard skills, a list of soft skills that most companies need in 2020. And under hard skills, and I can also send the article to you, and which is actually included in the workbook. So under hard skills, guess what they have? They have marketing, sales, and video production. Guess what they all share in common? Create. They involve you to create content. And as parents, we want our children to move away from using social media as a toy for entertainment only, but actually to create something, right? So when you are creating content, you are actually making an effort to educate, and inspire. Oh my God, sometimes I worry that I will write down the wrong words. And so you want them to create. So to create content, to educate others, to inspire others, and maybe even to entertain others. Okay, so you want your children to move away from this stage, passively consuming content, to this stage, actively sharing content. And those of you who don't know, I actually host a few live streaming shows. One of my live streaming shows focuses on education. We discuss, debate, and disrupt education. And last week, I had Tim Salal to come to my show, and he's being called as the future of work. And I asked him this question. Hey, Tim, I asked him, what is the most needed hard skill in 2020? And he has been studying the future of work for more than 3 years. And he's a keynote speaker and talking about this all the time. And guess what he shared with me? Create. Our ability to create content, to share our knowledge with others, storytelling and story selling, all those are very important. Okay. So as parents, again, to flip this around from always using social media as a way to consume and having our lives being affected by social media. And one way to change that is to actually use social media as a tool to create. And from this stage to this stage, from conception to creation, there are some very important missing links. If you go home after you watch my training today, and you go home, hey, Allison, let's say that's the name of what today I watched this amazing training, and we are not going to ban social media technology in our home anymore. And we want you to use social media as a tool to start to create. And if you tell that to your daughter will be looking at you like, Mom or Dad, what are you talking about? Because they have been so used to consuming. If you tell them, hey, next day I want you to start creating, and trust me, they have no idea how to create. I see this in my students over and over. So here are the missing links. Listen up. So in order to move them from here to here, one bridge is to connect. And this is what I mean by connect. And you want your children to connect very first with who they are, with themselves, okay? And ask them, what is something that I love doing? What is something that I'm so passionate about? For me, it is teaching, right? What I'm doing right now. But for your children, maybe it is sports, maybe it's like TV, or like right now, my own children, they're really into comic books, and maybe music, or maybe cooking, whatever. Ask them to go within. What is something that you can spend hours doing and studying and talking about and sharing others? So that's the very first step. You want to do that, help them make that self-discovery and connection with the self. And the second one is to connect with other people. I'm not talking about random people here. Connect with Susan, connect with Dan, connect with this and that. No, no, no. That's not what I'm talking about here. Remember, the big picture we're talking about here is to make your children future ready. Okay? So the others I'm talking about here include leaders, influencers, and thought leaders, okay? And every single industry, right? There are people who have done so much work. They are being respected. They are really well known. And they are being perceived as leaders or influencers or thought leaders, however you want to call them, okay? So for example, if your children, they are really into cooking, right? So they want to become a chef. They want to become this really amazing cook. And so what you can do is go home and really identify the leaders, the influencers, and the really the best chef, right? The best cooks, thought leaders in this specific field. And if they run into trouble, like, hey, mom, dad, or Dr. I don't know, where do I even find those people? So here, I'm going to give you a very few quick ways that you can help your children to identify those leaders, influencers, and thought leaders in their dream, desired industry or profession, okay? Number one, very simple. Google, right? So if you just go home right now, after you watch my training, and Google the top 10 cooks in the United States, I'm pretty sure Google is going to send you hundreds of articles, okay? And so second way is actually hashtag search. Hashtag is so powerful, and it is free. So you can go to LinkedIn, you can go to Instagram, you can go to TikTok, you can go to Twitter, Facebook, do a hashtag search. Going back to the cooking example, you can just use a very simple hashtag cooking, and then search on LinkedIn, and LinkedIn will give you a list of topics that people have used this hashtag. Go to Instagram, you will see people who are talking about cooking, and look at their engagement, look at their profile. You can easily identify a few thought leaders in this. And you can also follow Google Trends. You know, what are some of the major trends in the cooking industry? And talking about Google, you can easily set up a Google alert, right? I have created Google alert for education, for disruptive education, alternative school, social media marketing, and every day they tell me what's going on, who are the people I should follow, I should keep an eye on. And last but not least is Amazon, right? And Amazon, there are like best-selling authors and what is trending, and you can easily, and this list can go on and on, podcasts, live streaming interviews. So there's no shortage for you to discover thought leaders, influencers in your children's idea or ideal profession, right? So after they identify those people, what to do next? Okay, mom, dad, Dr. I identify 10 people, okay? And in this day and age, I can almost guarantee you most influencers, thought leaders have some sort of digital footprint. So what you need to do next is to become a professional stalker. Follow those people, connect with them on different social media platforms, maybe on Instagram, maybe on TikTok, maybe on Facebook, or maybe in specific Facebook groups, maybe on LinkedIn, maybe on Twitter, or maybe they are bloggers, maybe podcasters, whatever. Connect with those 10 people. You are not even asking your children to do a lot, like maybe 5. That seems to be even more manageable than 10. So identify those people. And here is another missing link. To move them from this stage, being a passive consumer, to an active creator. So here is another missing link. I don't know if you can, I don't know if you can still see. Let me, this can probably see better. So another one is, so one missing link is connect. Another missing link, here's another one. Listen up. Can you see? Oh, I moved this over here. So the other one is actually contribute. Okay, so this is what I mean by that. And your children, they want to become a cook or musician or even maybe social media, whatever they want to do. They have identified those influencers, thought leaders, and what you need to do next, how can you grab their attention, right? I'm sure they have millions of followers. How will they pay attention to you, to your children? Here's a way. And this works. It works on my own students. It worked on myself. And this is how I get the attention of Mark Schaefer and Seth Godin and so many others. You actually contribute to their content. You contribute to their movement. Okay? Seth Godin, he's a blogger. And if he has a new article published, I write a comment. Not just a comment saying that, hey, this is a great article. I loved reading it. I write paragraphs after paragraphs to tell him how much I enjoy this piece of content and how this piece of content is changing my life, changing my career, changing my understanding of fill in the blank, right? So you ask your children to do the same thing. And maybe you can even write a book review or share their articles, contribute to their videos. However you want to do, be creative. In my workbook, in my training, I have like at least 30 ways that you can contribute to their content, to their social movement. Be creative. Okay, so contribute. And after, I can guarantee you, after you do this, connect, and after you do this, contribute, and your children, I can guarantee you, they will have a much better understanding of the content that they are going to create. They will feel inspired, and now they have some meaningful connections. Maybe they can start a live streaming show. My personal content has benefited so much. My personal brand has benefited so much from hosting live streaming shows. Some of you may be blogger, talking about content creation. There are so many different types of content. You can start a podcast. You can start, for me, live streaming and the blogging. I love blogging. I love live streaming. And maybe you are really good in terms of graphic design. You can create amazing visuals, images, pictures, infographics, however you want to do. So based on this connections, and based on this, you way to contribute to their meaningful, you way to contribute to their content in a very meaningful way, and leverage what you have built and leverage what you have learned, and to create your own content, to build your own personal brand, and to learn to share content, to educate, to inspire, and to entertain. Okay, so this is really the entire picture. Okay, and if your children are still struggling with, if you as a parent, and I see many schools do this as well, they ban social media, they ban technology, and maybe even in your home, you have teenagers, you ban computer, you ban technology. And that is not the right way, my friend. And banning is not the right way, because guess what? Social media and technology, they are not going to go away. And also, I want to argue, social media, technology, they are not the root of the problem. And how you are using this is the problem. Okay, so I hope you are enjoying today's training. And if you want to move, most children, 80% of our children, again, I'm talking about college age, high school age students, they are here. They're consuming content to entertain and to just like, being silly. And you want to really move them from here to here, okay? This is a new, how do you want to say that's new? Like this is a necessary, a new hard skill or new set of knowledge that children need to master and in order to become future ready. Okay, and I hope I share some really good tips and to move them from here to here, and make sure you also incorporate this element and the contribute element. Okay, in my workbook, I have this model, the 3C model: connect, contribute, and create. And if you can really coach your children to practice this on regular basis for 3 months, and I guarantee you that will change their relationship with social media from being disruptive to becoming constructive. And they are going to become a leader in their own field, in the cooking industry or music industry, however they want to become known for, and they will be discovered by thought leaders, by recruiters, and they will be able to create their dream lives. And so thank you for joining me live. I hope this is really useful. And again, if you missed the last week's training, leave me in the comment section on training. I will make sure to send you the link. And there is also a workbook that comes with this training. I give you specific ways to connect, to contribute, and that can guarantee to bring you success or your children. And you can also apply this yourself. Your ideal life. So make sure in the comment section write down workbook. I will send you a link and to give you the workbook. So again, this is the second part of the 4-part training series. And next Thursday, I will be talking about life to help your children to become future ready, and how do you cultivate life skills. So that is next Thursday, and the last video will be in 2 weeks, and we'll be talking about the mindset, how to master our mind in order to master our life. Thank you so much, everyone. Make sure to follow #classroom without walls, where we teach your children what they are not learning from schools to become future ready. See you online. See you next week. Bye.